how can how can you take care of the house of God if you don't take care of your family? So I saw it more like the family itself is a test place for success in ministry. One of the desires we have is we don't want our children to dislike Jesus because of us
Yeah.
or dislike going to church. Because I've seen growing up, I've seen a lot of pastors' children. They hate church, they hate Jesus, not because Jesus is bad, but because of the Jesus that was portrayed to them by their own parents. It's like a neglecting Jesus, a Jesus that abandons his family to serve God. So they wonder what kind of God is that. I think our generation should give a better example. So
Yeah.
with that awareness, even when there is a drive for success and impact in ministry, which is fine, you don't allow the devil to take advantage of the home front, because when that is gone, sometimes you ask
What's
yourself,
left?
then what is left? What is left? So I think that awareness is a good place to start.
Yeah, I think what also helped us, we have four daughters. Um, from the very beginning, like that's why I'm still going back to value. Because when your values are set, you know what kind of decisions you make. I remember that there are times when, so work is good, and it's good to work hard at your work. And there are times when you had to, as our children grew up, talk to them, communicate. That there are seasons where is not available, or daddy is busy at work. And because we started talking about it from their younger ages, they understood that, what, okay, daddy's not around, mommy is around. Or there are times when mommy even wants to rest, or mommy has a meeting, daddy stays. So communication is key, where they understand the different phases of work. And it doesn't just apply only to ministry, even with other work environments. And it goes either for the husband or daddy or mommy or the wife, where mommy is not available, mommy has to travel, and the children understand why. Not that, just understand that mommy, that don't you know that daddy is busy, or don't you know that mom? No, tell them that, okay, for this and this and this reasons, daddy will not be able to, come for your this or come for that or be available. But also understanding that there are sacrifices to be made. I remember that there were seasons where our daughters, they were approaching their teen years. And I remember we had that discussion some years ago whereby I had to intentionally leave the office early. I remember we had that discussion because I wanted to pick them from school. That time that we had in the car, after picking them from school and, getting home, the times in between, we had a lot of discussions in the car. Because when we got home, it was homework, schoolwork, projects and all. But those moments we had, we bonded well. I understood what was going. I could see reactions when I went to pick them. Oh, this person is sad about this or angry about this or quiet. Why are you quiet? So I made that. We talked about. I made that sacrifice of leave the office early so you can pick them.
Yeah.
We are not there. We are not there in that space anymore because they are older now, and one of them even helps with the other her siblings. But we had to make decisions at different phases of their growing up. That helped us.
I think that's key because sacrificing, there are trips that we were supposed to go together that she had to sacrifice by staying back, just mainly because of the children. I learned something from our pastors. There were various phases in their lives. And for younger ministers, I'm still young, but looking back, I realized that many times we're in a hurry to succeed. We're in a hurry to take over the world. And that can translate into neglect for your family. Look at my pastors now. They have 4 children, and all their kids are married. So they are freer now. So I realized that you are not free when the kids are still young. You have to attend to them. And as they grow, the time will now come when you now be freer and freest, if possible. Now, when I looked at my pastors, all the kids are married, so he's available with the wife. He can travel for ministrations and do so much more. But many people try to do those things at the wrong time. Mm-hmm. And then the children growing up, they suffer. I think one thing that will help is, we started doing that some years ago. You have to be intentional about the family, where you have to say, okay, once in a month, you go out on a date with your spouse. Is it the first Sunday or the first Monday, and then you go on a date, you go on a dinner or lunch. Of course, we've been to several places, some of them very hilarious. There was a time we went to Italia restaurant on the island. We just said we just do something new. We saw something on the menu. I didn't even know the meaning. We just felt like doing something new. Life's about new things as they teach us. And then we ordered for the thing. By the time they brought everything, we couldn't even eat. I was very angry. We didn't even eat the food. We left. I'm telling you, because when I tasted, I said, you can't be pretending, It was very painful, but it's part of the bonding. So I've learned my lesson anyway. When you go for buffet, don't try things that will fill your stomach too early. Don't mind those people. When you go for buffet, they'll give you bread and soup. If you eat it too much, you have missed everything. Didn't you eat bread at home before?
Oh my goodness.
So those are the lessons we learned. Going out to dinners and we went to various hotels. We just go there, for dinner, sometimes for lunch, And I realized that helps us because it helps the friendship, it helps the sanity. Because I've seen people, they've not even gone on a date with their spouse for years.
Yeah.
And the excuse is, I'm a manager at work. Look, the day something breaks loose in your home, that time you didn't have for years, you will now have it on an emergency.
Conversations.
Sometimes people need to wake up. As pastors, we counsel with people and they look, Pastor, I don't have the time. It's like health. Some people say, I don't have the time to exercise. I don't have the time to do this one. God forbid, when the health breaks down, you will not have the time. I was preaching in Benin one time, and one of the speakers was a medical practitioner, and he was addressing pastors, and was talking about, it was a very painful session, enlightening itself, how there are some businessmen and even pastors that are in his hospital as we speak, people that have not had time for themselves. Now they have time by force. When you're on the hospital bed for weeks, but not something you are enjoying. So is that what you want? Why not have time for what matters? So wisdom requires that you attend to your children. For children, I always feel for the younger ones. Even when I'm leaving the home at times, you hear questions like, Daddy, where are you going again? You could tell that they wanted to be around. And it's a joy. For me, when they are asking that, it's a joy. When I was growing up, it not be like that. It wasn't that when are you going, where are you going to again? It was more of asking mommy, when would daddy go out? Look at the change. You want daddy to be out because there was no relationship. Hey, when we age, the time you've not invested in them, you will not be able to repeat.
I think so. Yeah. What really helped, and I think, marry someone, whether male or female, that listens.
Because as a friend.
Yeah, as a friend. Because there are times when my husband is busy, rightly so. And I know, maybe I hear one of our daughters saying that, daddy is not around or daddy hasn't been around. I chip it into him. I just say, see that, so this person is missing you or this person was asking about you. And he takes steps immediately. He may not even be going out or he just, finds time, 30 minutes with them, playing with them, laughing with them. That fills a child's account. So listen to your spouse. Listen, it may sound simple. They may not even be shouting at you. It may just be a comment, but take that comment serious. And another thing, speaking to marriage, is a lot of people think romance is not scriptural. Romance is scriptural. And it doesn't have to be...
The book of Romance or romance?
Romance.
Oh, okay.
Romance.
That was saying the book of Romance.
It's scriptural. It is godly. Because I remember this story that a wife was complaining to me about her husband. So her husband would travel and will call her. So when he calls her, they do praise and worship on the phone. They pray on the phone for hours. He will preach to her. He's not a pastor.
No, she will preach to him.
He will preach to her. And she's saying like, I want to go and watch movie. I want to watch Nollywood. I want to gist you about my day. But the man was, no. So it is scriptural to be romantic. Can I say that again? It is okay to be romantic. And it's not expensive. I'm not saying just go to the hotel, in your home. Laugh, watch movies, hold hands, put up the lights, put candle. That's candlelight dinner. And put the popcorn. You are doing it in your home.
Yeah.
Just have times to be...
Have creative ways of doing it. Because sometimes people are saying it's not hard. Sometimes we order for things, instead of cooking at home, we order for things to the house to eat. You're not eating out, but you're eating from out.
So that you can even cook together in the
Yes,
kitchen.
amen.
It's still part.
I said, amen.
It's still part of it. It's part of it because it's
No, we've done
time
that
to
before. That I've
bond.
not had the time, but I enjoy doing that.
And
when
he
I do
cooks
that,
well. He makes his jollof
Yeah.
rice is always.
yeah, my jollof rice is better than our own jollof rice.
Yes, we know.
And let me say it again. My jollof rice is better than her jollof rice.
Amen.
She
Amen.
ate so much concussion in university that when we got married, she always tried to do jollof rice. It's now concussion. I had to rescue. At the car sat her. By the time I said, they say I come from the office, say there's jollof rice, and I open the pot. It's not red. It's not really red. It's a bit yellowish.
I like
with some taste. This is
concussion.
not
No,
jollof rice.
No,
This, don't scam me, my home,
do
man.
that. No. I like concussion rice. I like it.
Rebushki.
But I don't mistake. I don't say concussion is jollof rice.
That's what they introduced to me first. But thank God for grace.
Because we didn't have money then. Should we go there?
When we had money,
we didn't have money. So we didn't have money to buy tin tomato. We used to
No. That was then. No. But even now, we're still trusting God for money. Believe me. But even till last some weeks ago, they gave me concussion.
Yes, because we made the concussion.
I've suffered before. I can't suffer again.
The children, do you? Is it concussion that we put sausage? We'll put fish.
It is concussion. It's yellowish like this, yellowish green. It's scary.
It's not. It's concussion. That's concussion.
It's not
jollof fries. And we make jollof fries. Say we don't do jollof fries.
Anyway, so we can cook together. And then what else can we do together? We'll talk about romance. Maybe next
Talk about it now.
Romance. No, this one is about work-life balance.
What do you want to talk about romance?
No,
Romance
because
is not sex.
sometimes
So
people...
romance is different from sex.
Yes.
Because I know that's where it's going. Romance is different from
Jesus
sex.
Christ.
Romance
I'm
is
not going there. That's
not
painful. That's
sexual
very painful.
interaction.
Romance is the atmosphere of the home. And I feel it does have to... That, what she said is paining me.
Because when we start now, because we say it's the atmosphere, we understand. Romance is just you can be together, laugh together. Why does it always have to end
If you do it
in the
well,
bed?
it doesn't have to end in
It
bed.
doesn't have to. It doesn't have to every time. Every
Are you
time.
the one that push me at times on the bed? Are you not the one? Please stop recording this thing. No. Are you not the one that push me on the bed at times? Work-life balance. So let's next edition we'll talk about romance. No, because oh God, we'll talk about work-life balance. Next edition. Sorry, romance. Next
You
edition.
see, you don't even know what you're saying anymore.
Work-life balance. Put a system to it, okay? Do you know, I mean, I've been privileged to take our children out on dates. Not all of them, one by one.
Each of them,
Yeah.
at
I
different
enjoyed
times.
it. Can you imagine taking your first child, even the younger ones, out on a date, and the memory lingers? We didn't grow up like that. You don't have to carry all of them. Like, Agbadi go every time, okay, 5 of you, let's go, One each, because they are entities, and I'm always telling each of them, they're entities. They're going to grow up as individuals, have their own marriage, have their own life. So you want to treat them as individuals, and let them feel like, yes, these are my parents. These are the things
And
we've
so that
done. We hope to do more.
The most important thing for me is that, especially with children, the way we mirror our marriages is what they will take to their own homes. So if they don't see us, especially in ministry, as people that love each other, they don't see us laugh, they don't see us as friends, that is the same picture that they take to their own homes. So they have this notion that, because like you said, that's how some of us grew up, where we've never seen our parents laugh, they've never seen our parents play or hold each other. So when we got into marriage, it was hard. So if it's the earlier we understand that whatever we do, even when we make sacrifices for them, and we sacrifice, like we learned from one of our mentors, we can delegate. What can be delegated should be delegated. You can delegate pastorhood or the ministry, your ministry work. Preaching. You cannot delegate your being a husband or a wife to your spouse. You cannot delegate being a parent to your children. So it's important that we let them understand this truth. It's a fundamental truth.
Yeah. Now we're not saying that serving God will not demand from you many times sacrifices. So that we don't misunderstand what we're saying. There are times that I have to be away in church doing things, but we just need to be aware that if we need to communicate more, we should communicate more. In fact, there's a way we try to teach or explain to our children that even when you're now sacrificing, they're even encouraging your sacrifice. Okay, you'll be away for this number of days, or you are fasting, or you'll be available. They support you rather than doing things and then they now wonder what is happening. "Yeah, I'm just busy. I'm serving God." We should do our best not to present God as the boss, but as we should present God as a heavenly Father, a Father that understands, a Father that yes, there'll be sacrifices that we have to do where the family will have to wait, but the family will understand that and even pray for you.
Yeah.
So that understanding, I feel, makes a difference. We are still work in progress. One of the things we also desire is to have vacation together as a family. Where there is a will, there is a way. Sometimes if you don't desire these things and make concrete plans, you can just find that for 7 years you've not gone out with the entire family, and it's not good. You now ask us, what are you working for? What are you slaving for? You pay taxes to the government. You are driving on the road with traffic, and then the family is not enjoying all those FT sacrifices. Then what is the benefit? So we are preparing for 2023. I want to challenge families to make a plan for vacation. Just have a plan.
Yeah.
Just, that's why even when we didn't have the money for it, we just set as a goal. And I realized that the resources began to come together for it. Start, of course, don't overdo yourself.
Small, yeah.
Start small. It could be to a particular state in your nation. It could be just a neighboring nation. But have a plan. Write it down that, okay, we'll be going to maybe, if you're in Nigeria, for instance, we're going to be going to Ghana. Or you want to go to Kenya, I want to go to the United Kingdom. Set as a goal. And then, of course, I want to encourage the man in the house or the person that is more proficient in that to start taking steps, ask about the fees, and you see how things come together. For some of us hearing, let it be your first in 2023 and go with the two kids, the one child, the 3 children, and play 1 week, 1.5 weeks, depending on how you plan it. And those are memories that people will remember even when they grow up. There are things I remember. I remember when I was in the boarding house. One day I schooled in Abeokuta Grammar School, and one day I was in class during the day, integrated science class, and then I just saw my dad outside the classroom, and they came and said, "Yemi, your dad wants to see you." I've never forgotten that day. It wasn't a visiting day, so I went out to greet him. He said that he just came to Abeokuta from Lagos to do some things. I just felt like, as we call it, branching to see me. I just talked a bit and everything, gave me some money, and then left. I've not forgotten. So there are memories your kids have to grow up with.
Yeah.
Because you're going to work with various banks. You work with various companies. That's forgone. But what about the times with your spouse that, your husband can remember, your wife can remember that, this happened together. Your children can say, remember when we went to this particular place, or did this particular thing. And those are the things that affect generations.
Conversations.
The truth is, like you rightly said, there are times when there'll be sacrifices, and the children and your spouse will know that this is not a case of daddy or mommy neglecting or abandoning us. It's a case of daddy is working, and they understand. And another thing is, just before we round off, is I know that maybe it's a cultural thing that people have, that especially for our men, the cultural mindset that anything that has to do with a child's growing up is a woman. So you see, and it's still happening till date. When you go to school, it is 90% of the women and the mothers that attend children's events. Would like that to change. Yes, it may not be easy, but we can. A lot of things have changed, and we change with it. We adapt to the change. Can we have more fathers attending their children's events, especially school events? Let it be a norm. Let the child. There are times when some children don't even think. They don't even think that their father can. They don't even tell their father that please come to. They don't even think of telling them. But when we start making such sacrifices, in fact, the children, it means a lot. It means a lot to see their dad in school, either to pick them or to drop them. I know if a lot of fathers do it now. I see a lot of fathers that drop their children, pick their children, attend children's events. But let's make it a norm. Let's encourage ourselves, encourage the fathers as well to do things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Father to child, spirit to spirit. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed yourself today. We'll see you next time. Please like, share, subscribe, whatever you can do to propagate this, to be a blessing. Share with your friends. I think this should go around to be a blessing to people. God bless you. See you later.
Bye.